As we fast approach the end of 2023, it is a natural milestone to reflect on the state of the Canadian Armed Forces, how they fared in the previous 12 months, and what we can expect in 2024 and beyond. The most objective manner in which to assess the Canadian military is by the numbers. And, spoiler alert, those numbers are not good. It's time to target just how bad things have gotten for the Canadian Armed Forces. One of the most crippling statistics is that the CAF are presently 16,500 personnel short of a combined regular and reserve strength of 115,000. This represents a nearly 15% shortfall in trained personnel, which, to put that into context, the Pentagon considers any unit which suffers 10% casualties in battle to be hors de combat, aka out of action.
Colleagues and shipmates.
The commander of the Royal Canadian Navy, Vice Admiral Angus Topsheet, recently released a video message in which he admits that Canada's Navy will be unable to fulfill their mission objectives in the near future. There is also a crippling shortage of trained pilots in the RCAF, which has resulted in the cancelling of Canadian participation in joint foreign exercises. The Canadian Army recently acknowledged that it will need $220 million worth of equipment to simply replace those weapons and vehicles which Canada has already supplied to the armed forces of Ukraine. Ammunition is one in particularly short supply as a result of our contribution to the war in Ukraine. At a recent briefing to Parliament, Chief of Defence Staff General Wayne Eyre bemoaned the fact that there is only 3 days' worth of ammunition left in Canadian magazines, based on an expenditure rate commensurate with what we observe in the Ukraine war. The $26.5 billion allocated to Canada's defence budget only represents 1.3% of Canada's gross domestic product, the GDP. The usual tub thumpers bemoan the fact that this remains well below the NATO alliance's stated goal of 2% of GDP spent on defense.
Are we pulling our weight? Are we stepping up to the plate? No, we're not.
However, the truth is that D&D is so woefully mismanaged and understrength that Canada does not even spend the full $26.5 billion. As a result of project delays, some $2 billion worth of procurement money went unspent last year, and the shortfall in personnel saved taxpayers more than $1 billion in salaries and benefits. Recruiting remains a challenge despite the 2023 change in dress regulations, which now allows all hairstyles, facial hair, tattoos, piercings, and a choice of gender uniform items.
Colonel Potter, sir. Horse hockey.
Of course, a major impediment to those considering a career in uniform has been the steady stream of negative news reports about widespread sexual misconduct. Again, the numbers don't lie, and they only got worse in 2023. The most recent numbers released by Statistics Canada reveal that in 2022, despite the barrage of media reports and widespread public scrutiny, the number of reported cases of sexual assault actually increased. An estimated 1,960 regular force members, or roughly 3.5%, quote, reported they were sexually assaulted in the military workplace or outside the workplace in an incident that involved Canadian Armed Forces or other military members in the 12 months preceding the survey.
An increase in reporting is deeply concerning to us, but I think it can also be indicative of a perhaps greater confidence among victims that if they do come forward and bring forward their complaints, that they will be taken seriously.
A would-be recruit considering a 30-year career can do the math, calculate that this amounts to a 100% chance of being sexually assaulted at some point, and politely decline the military's offer of employment. Unfortunately, without a major uptake in recruiting and training to bring the CAF back to full strength, the coming year will be a steep challenge. The RCN will be taking delivery of more ships, while they cannot put the ones they have to sea for want of trained crew members. The Canadian Army is to increase the forward deployed battle group in Latvia to the status of a full brigade, while lacking ammunition for training and still awaiting the acquisition of a low-level air defense system. The first of the newly purchased F-35 strike fighters is due for delivery in 2026, with a total of 88 being received by 2029. Somehow, the RCAF will need to keep their aging CF-18 Hornets operational while transitioning to this next-generation fighter. Again, this will require a major turnaround in recruiting and training to keep apace with current attrition. As the old recruiting ads used to say about the Canadian Armed Forces, there's no life like it. This has been On Target. I'm Scott Taylor.